Wow! A video game doesn't need an engaging story or the prettiest graphics to be a good game. A good game is simply having fun because the game is right. This game provides you with a Saints Row 4, you're the president of the United States. Yes, we get this there. Aliens invaded and abducted the States, and it's your job to kick some alien butt. Sure, the story's not relatively deep, but hey, horror games are fun, and we all know the story behind those series.
It was a dark and stormy night. Bowser kidnapped Peach.
Ah, I love you so much, Johnny. Speaking of Johnny, he's alive! Well, the trailers didn't make it any better, and he does have a game coming out, so, honestly, are you really surprised? I love the humor in this game. It's the kind of game where it doesn't take itself too seriously, and why should it? It's a video game, not a movie, and it's self-aware. Even the villain Zinyak is getting into the fun. When he annihilates people, it's gonna hurt them step on his hand. Dude, so good. I especially love the interaction between the children. And yes, boys and girls, there's quality for sure. Playing as a guy or a girl, romance everyone should leave no stone unturned. It's a
That's really not gonna work.
Outside, or should I say inside the simulation, you're placed in a city where you can wreck shit up. This is easily the best part of the game. Imagine infinite fun with less restrictions. It's mayhem, it's destruction, lore, and the side activities are fun too. There's also a lot of love and care for the game. The narrative is off the charts in this one. You will see the references to returning characters, and it's a huge number of things. Anyone who says movies like Ghostbusters and video games like Star Fox and Hell Now don't get me wrong, the game's not perfect. Typically the PlayStation have constant frame rate issues, which can be really irritating when fighting these monsters, and over time playing through the game, you will have some game crashes. There was even one time where all I had to do was go to the title screen and then the game crashed. From what I've heard, the PC version has less crashes and runs at a smooth 60 frames per second, so if you want the best experience, I'd recommend getting the PC version. Aside from that, if you own Saints Row 2 or 3, chances are you'll enjoy Saints Row 4. If you enjoy wacky, silly, over-the-top, and comedic games, you will enjoy playing through it. The jokes are cheesy and sometimes cringe-worthy, but it's a good kind of cringe that no doubt you will enjoy. You owe it to yourself to buy this game. Sure, it's Saints Row 3 reskin, but hey, the game is different enough to warrant your purchase. $60 may be a little bit too steep, but overall, I enjoyed it. And also has a dubstep gun.
That has to be embarrassing.
Who cooked this? Who cooked this? Was it you? I'll fucking kill you!
Okay, yes, I've done quite a lot of Square Enix bashing during my lores list, but hey, let me make it up to you guys. Sleeping Dogs is a sandbox game where you are an undercover cop working with the triads known as the Sun On Yee. It is your job to take down the Triad Wars as you are not only working with them, but against them at the same time. Your character, Wei Shen, has a personal connection to the Sun On Yee, but at the same time he knows he's an undercover cop and he needs to do the right thing. Throughout the story, Wei is constantly haunted by working with these two factions and may eventually end in an unfortunate climax, alongside with eventually reuniting with friends who are once again unfortunately on the wrong side of the law. I won't spoil too much, but I will say that this is definitely worth the purchase, and as much as I hate remasters, if you have not bought the original games on the PS3, 360, and PC, I highly recommend getting the remastered version on PS4, Xbox One, or PC. Wait a minute, you have a remaster of a PC version? How the hell does that work? It's the fucking PC! Gameplay-wise, think of Batman Arkham City, but with Kung Fu. You have light attacks and heavy attacks, and you can combine those attacks for combos. The odd but interesting thing is that both light and heavy attacks are on one button. To do a light attack, you just tap the button. To do a heavy attack, you hold the button. The reason why it's not on a separate button much like any other beat 'em up games is because the button in which the heavy attack is normally placed is the counter button. When the enemy glows red, you can press the counter button to deflect those attacks, and it works pretty much 100% of the time as long as you don't mash the attack button. So in a sense, it actually punishes you for randomly button mashing because by doing so, you are wide open to attacks. There's also a grab button you can use to attack enemies, whether it's throwing them into the ground or... Jesus, Way, that was pretty damn brutal! Yes, the finishers, oh so exciting and satisfying. Seeing them in spectacular display makes you feel like you are one tough animal. And once you are done brutally massacring the triads, you can calm yourself down by singing some karaoke.
Good God!
On second thought, don't sing karaoke. It's not perfect though, sometimes the frame rate drops, especially during cutscenes, and of course, who can forget those wonderful funny glitches. Be amazed at Odd the Amazing Man sitting in the invisible chair, or a man inside a door acting as if he was in the next Exorcist movie, or whatever the fuck happened here. Seriously, what the fuck happened there? I eventually picked up the prequel for this game, True Crime Streets of LA, and once I'm done with that, I'm planning on picking up Streets of New York as well. Now, if only I continued that Let's Play. Sometime in the future. Oh man, I don't know if I could. Whoa, what the what the hell, what the fuck am I what the hell am I, who the hell am I killing? Okay.
Feminist of the world, Lara Croft is your idol, not your enemy. She's a strong, capable woman, not a damsel in distress or a sex object.
I swear to God, they're not all extremists, but the majority of feminists I see seem to rate Lara Croft as a slutty woman, when in reality she's a badass warrior. Maybe in her early days she was like that, but the Lara we see in this reboot shows that she can be ruthless, and no, I don't give a shit if her name is pronounced Lara. It sounds stupid, and we've been calling her Lara forever now. Besides, even the main characters calls her Lara, so why is it that you should be pissed off at me when the characters in the game do the same thing?
Laura. This is Lara Croft.
Look at that! Even Lara Croft says her name is Laura! Anyways, name ranting aside, Laura is a fantastic main protagonist. While vulnerable at times, she overcomes the weak behavior and proves that she can be a very tough warrior. Take note, other M. This is how you make a non-perfect female protagonist. Every time she's stuck in a situation, you want her to overcome it, and as a player, you're providing your skills into her, and let me tell you, the death that she takes are freaking brutal. This game is M-rated for a reason, and while the blood and swearing sway it a little bit, it's the gruesome way Laura dies and gets a game over. Gameplay-wise, it's a standard third-person shooter with some stealth elements and RPG elements, while at the same time becomes a 3D platforming Assassin's Creed Uncharted hybrid. In fact, this game pretty much oozes Uncharted. Finding treasure, escaping death, and glitches. Oh, the wonderful glitches. I believe it's possible to go through the game purely stealth when the game allows you to do so, but if you fail, the action sequences are still fun. You can use your bows and arrows or guns to destruct the enemies, and at the same time, there are some beat 'em up elements that you can use in order to get past them as well. Just know, some of the footage you see is from the PC version. Unless you have the definitive version, the PC is the best way to go, assuming you have a good enough PC to run the game. While recording footage, I've noticed the PS3 version runs at 30 frames per second, while the PC runs at a smooth 60 if you have a decent build PC. So playing with a mouse and keyboard feels weird, since when using a controller, it shows these button prompts, but when using a mouse and keyboard, it gives you these icons, but with the buttons suppressed in this very fine print at the bottom of the screen. So I recommend plugging in your controller, since it feels like it was more built with that in mind. Story-wise, it's the beginning of the entire Tomb Raider franchise, and it is awesome. Because of this game, I want to get into more of the older Tomb Raider games. I'm still trying to complete the collection so far, but I played Anniversary, and if you guys are ever interested in Tomb Raider's story, this is the good place to start. I'm glad this game did well despite Square Enix saying it's a failure even though it sold 1 million copies, because thanks to that success, we have a sequel called The Rise of the Tomb Raider that's coming out this year. Exclusively on Xbox.
Well, I'm covered.
I mean, what can I say? It's the start of a new reboot that shows a lot of potential. And it also has walking bottles. Why is this bottle moving? Why is this bottle moving? Now there are 2 dancing walking bottles! Yeah! Yeah, one death made a board! This is like their child or something. I have not had this much fun with a Mario Kart game since Mario Kart Double Dash. This was the year I pretty much play Mario Kart religiously. It seems like every week or at least 4 times a month, I play Mario Kart 8 throughout the year of 2014. And from its release date, it was the game that kept my Wii U from collecting dust. And with such a simple piece of plastic known as the Wii U gamepad, it makes me even more productive when processing videos. The fact that I can just simply play the game on another TV screen without having to bother to switching TV screens with a remote controller, it also allows my niece and nephews to play something while focusing on making scripts or editing videos. And this game is a buttload of fun along with friends locally. It captures that couch versus mode whenever I play with my friends sitting next to each other, something that online-only games seems to miss out on. Speaking of online, this game feels flawless. I've barely experienced any lag, and it gets even better when you use the LAN adapter. Seriously though, if you want to have a good time playing alongside with your friends and family, Mario Kart 8 is fun for everyone. Except when you get the blue shell, but hey, they made a newly specific item just to combat against the blue shell, and it's awesome! You guys do not realize how painful it is to be in first place and then all of a sudden get hit by a blue shell, all because you're winning. It doesn't help much, but hey, it's better than praying for that mushroom and keeping that until you get to first place. There's a reason why the Wii U is selling very well in the early 2014, and it's all thanks to this little guy. A fun kart racing game that's best played along with your friends and family. Does right bumper? Yeah, right bumper also. Oh god, that looks sexual. Oh my god, that looks sexual! Why'd they put butt physics on a Mario Kart game?
You're not the same company as I thought you would be. At least there's one AAA game that released this year that I enjoyed.
Now before I explain why I enjoy Far Cry 4, let me just explain, even though people say that Far Cry 4 is similar to Far Cry 3, despite me owning the game in my collection, I did not play it yet. Same thing goes for Blood Dragon. I'll get to it, just I'm waiting for a good time to LP the damn thing. Anyways, Far Cry 4 is a fun first-person sandbox shooting game. Think of Skyrim, but with guns. So hey, look at that, it even advertised as such. As such, the overworld is huge, with a good amount of side quests to do with so many activities to try out. You obtain viewpoints via Assassin's Creed style and destroy any of Pagan Min's propaganda. Speaking of the main antagonist, Pagan Min is hilariously evil. I love every single sentence he speaks, providing that kind of dark humor that feels uncomfortably funny. This is the character that without a doubt steals the show for me. Troy Baker, you've done a fantastic job at voice acting this character, and let me just reiterate, despite me enjoying my time more on the PlayStation 4, I played this game on my gaming PC and it feels amazing. Despite the fact that Ubisoft tends to destroy and botch up the PC version of the majority of their games, playing Far Cry 4 on my gaming PC on the highest settings feels so fulfilling at 60 frames per second, even if it's only 720p. I'm glad that with all the PC games Ubisoft optimized very poorly, there's at least one AAA game from Ubisoft that's well optimized for the PC. Now, if only they could do that for other games, that would be fantastic. Come on, Ubisoft. I know you can do it. Speaking of gaming PC, Valkyria Chronicles is a game that I just recently played, but fell in love with the instant I played through it. It's a 3D strategy RPG with a permadeath condition if you fail to save your allies, a bit like Fire Emblem if you ever played that game. However, unlike Fire Emblem, it also implements shooting sections. Certain weapons can shoot up to 5 times, some up to 20, and some only once. Depending on the weapon, it also attributes to damage and accuracy. Guns like the rifle are all around dealing a decent amount of damage, and a decent amount of range as well. The machine gun doesn't do too much, but it shoots a lot of bullets, giving that accuracy a better chance to insta-kill. The sniper does a very powerful damage output, and can fire for a long distance. But you only have one shot, so do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once every turn.
You ruined it!
There are also a lot of classes to deal with as well, like the engineer that can repair barricades, disable bombs, and repair tanks. While classes like lancers can destroy tanks easier and deals a lot of destructive area, but the amount of characters you can recruit is what makes it. Much like Fire Emblem, there are an abundant amount of characters to play as. You know what that means? More waifus! dude, she's like 12. What the fuck is wrong with you? What's better is that these characters have a good synergy with other characters as well. Certain characters perform better alongside with other characters, while some may be a lone wolf and can concentrate a lot better alone. This adds a lot more layers of strategy when you try and recruit characters, but once again, if you have a character you like, make sure you keep them alive, because if they fall into battle, there's still a chance you can save them, but if the opponent captures them or if 3 turns pass, you will lose that character permanently. Or, you know, you could reset the battle, that works. I have not completed or finished this game yet, so I cannot say too much about the story, but I don't think I'm missing much since I only think it's okay. To me, this game is not all about the story. It's all about having fun, taking territories, defeating enemies and intruders, while doing it with your favorite characters. Laurie's been safely evacuated, good. Now occupy this. Oh my god! Oh my god! We've after so many deaths. So many rescuing refugees, so many explosive diarrhea. We did it. I'm gonna take a break for this game. If you own an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty disappointing. But hey, if you own a Wii U, you have a lot of amazing games released. While the Wii U brings out their big guns and release games that are fun and exciting to play, and making you play them over and over again, Sony and Microsoft didn't really release that much. Most of the Microsoft games I've seen are either too overhyped, buggy at launch, games I can easily get on my gaming PC, or games I have not played yet but didn't interest me enough to buy the game yet. As for Sony, I can't even think of a game on top of my head they released that is outstanding to me other than games that were available on the PlayStation 3 last year.
However, that gave me a good amount of time to reflect on another PlayStation system that I actually had trouble with, the PlayStation Vita.
Much like the PlayStation 4, there's not a very good amount of exclusive games for the Vita. I just got the Vita last year and I have a whopping amount of 3 games in my collection, not counting the free games I got on PlayStation Plus. To put that into perspective, I recently bought an Xbox One and I already own 3 physical copies for the game. I seriously can't find any Vita games that's worthy in my collection aside from games that are also available on the 3DS, or games that I may want to experience on the go, but again, they're not exclusive, so what's the point of me owning the Vita? Well, I'll tell you this much. I did not regret buying it because there's at least one game I'm glad I picked up that happens to be an exclusive Vita game. Gravity Rush. This is the game that I personally feel has to be in every Vita owner's collection. Gravity Rush is a superhero video game made by Japan Studio, the same creators of Ape Escape, Shadow of the Colossus, and a bunch of other PlayStation games I have yet to play, and the current developer of The Last Guardian. Whenever that game releases to the public, I don't know, but seriously guys, it's been 6 years. At least give us a word. But anyways, Gravity Rush is indeed a fun game. It has the gravity system where it looks like you're flying, but in reality you're changing gravity. And let me just say, how is it that there's not a known superhero with the power to control gravity until now? Thanks to this, it gives a new twist on superpowers, and this game shows its amazing gravity superpowers not just from a story perspective, but from the gameplay perspective as well. With this, you can travel upon anywhere from the bottom of the town sewers to the top of buildings of schools and faculty areas. And can I just say, even if this game doesn't push the Vita to its limits, it has a distinct and special art style, blending in those characters' designs from anime and giving it a specific look. The combat system, combined with the gravity system, is a whole lot of fun to be played. It does use the Vita motion control, which can get a little bit annoying, but once you master it, you'd be wishing there were more games using motion controls. I also really like the story too, though the only complaint I have is that the game really doesn't go anywhere until 7 chapters in. Most of the chapters spent is introducing characters, introducing new game mechanics, and rescuing some towns from the abyss. However, after all that same remedial task, it starts getting really interesting dealing with other animal-like mutants, children who've been abandoned by their parents, and a beautiful atmosphere you wish game developers can recreate. The boss battles are implemented amazingly as well. The abilities you learn will be necessary in order to defeat the bosses alongside with remembering all your previous abilities that you learn. There is a little bit of a difficulty spike with certain boss battles, but again, much like other Japan Studio games, it requires you to play the game and keep playing the game in order to remember and master the controls. But if the Vita is your only option, be glad that you have this game on your very, very small library. I believe we can fly. I also believe that you're gonna die. Oh, there's no way you can survive that fall. Holy shit. Bitch, how'd you survive that? Oh, did I say there were no Sony games released this year? You wouldn't think I forget this gem now, would you? Infamous Second Son is the sole reason why I bought a PlayStation 4 in the first place. I was debating whether or not I wanted a PlayStation 4, but when a GameStop employee told me about Infamous Second Son, I thought it would be interesting to try the game out. From the same creators of Sly Cooper, we have a superhero slash anti-hero by the name of Delson, who happens to have superpowers. After that, it is your decision to either be the best hero for the sake of mankind, or to destroy the world and become infamous. Now, I've only finished the hero side, so I cannot really dive in deep with the story, so I'll only describe the hero story for now. Corrupt government, people with superpowers are deemed evil, take a shot for any X-Men references you can find. I will do a Let's Play for the evil story eventually. Probably. As long as people stop being so goddamn impatient. But because of that, this allows players to replay through this game just to see what happens when you pick the other side. Gameplay-wise, if you ever wanted to play a good Superman game, well, Infamous Second Son is the best experience you can get. Now, from what I've heard, Second Son was actually somewhat disappointing from Infamous fans. I've heard that it's not as good as the previous Infamous games, which I have not yet played, but I'll say that if I enjoyed Infamous Second Son to this kind of degree, I am much looking forward to Infamous and Infamous 2. Is there really anything else I can say about this game? Infamous Second Son proves that it can compete well with other first-party companies, and competition is indeed good for the industry.
A new job, or else.
You ever wonder how many powers you can hold?
I did it! The fifth installment in the GTA series, and with a lot of hype built up for this game, I'm glad the hype was real. This is one of the rare games that was marketed and hyped a lot, and actually delivers on its promise. Other companies, take notes. This is how you make a vast open world with a lot of things to do. Side quests galore that are fun and not time consuming, characters that, while not necessarily likable, has their own charm and fun, in a vast open world where you can do anything. There is so much thing you can do. It surprises me that I'm actually playing the game on the last generation of consoles. Remember, the footage I'm showing to you right now is the PlayStation 3 version, and for an 8-year-old console, it looks beautiful and gorgeous. And it gets even better when you buy the game on either PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. So if you have not experienced Grand Theft Auto 5 just yet, getting any of those 3 versions I mentioned is highly recommended. But don't think you won't have any enjoyment getting the PS3 or Xbox 360 version. If you can't afford a gaming PC or the next generation consoles, it's still a buttload of fun. Traveling the world of Los Santos and Sandy Beach, there's a lot of side activities to just mess around and cause havoc. And if the single player content is not enough to convince you, there's multiplayer where hours upon hours can be played. You do have the standard deathmatch and smuggling drugs, but you also have heists! Which is, at this time of recording, not available yet. Okay, well, you can create your own racetracks, which is also not available by the time I'm recording this. You can flip people off? Okay, look, there's a lot of reasons why this game was number 12 instead of, like, the top 5 where everyone is expecting. While I'm still having a lot of fun playing Grand Theft Auto 5, it is not something that's worth playing over and over again. Hell, I'll be surprised if you can do it over and over again. I feel like the first time you play through it, you've already got your money's worth, and I can always laugh at the same jokes when I replay through it. But honestly, I don't think it has that much replay value. I'm not the completionist type, and the gameplay can get me so far. I do love replaying through the single-player heists, and I love trying to go through different scenarios. But it's not a game I can religiously play through over and over again, mostly because there's just way too many things to do that I probably don't have the time to do them. I'm sure a hardcore GTA fan can get his or her money's worth by getting through every single achievement, but honestly, the next time I play through these games again is most likely when I need to record more footage for GTA 5, or when I finally get to play the new online features that's implemented. That is, if it's included on the PS3 and 360 versions. It's not a disappointing game by all means. If anything, I love all the features implemented into the game, but without a goal or an incentive to plow through them, I can't be motivated to play through those missions. Still, it's certainly a fun game that I'm sure a lot of you guys can enjoy more than I can. Fucking piece of shit psychiatrist! I admit, not only do I like this game, but much like Mario Kart 8, it's another game that I'm glad to play on my own time. It's surprising that I still continue to play through it considering how it should have been repetitive, but instead I keep playing it over and over and over again and it never gets boring for me, and why is that? It's a hack and slash game. To me, I will most likely never get bored of hack and slash games as long as it has the following: a variety of combos, challenging opponents, and fantastic boss battles. While the regular enemies are nothing more than special meter boosters, it's the opponents and boss battles that makes a hell of a lot more fun to play. You need skill in order to defeat your opponents, dodging all the enemy's attacks and striking them when they're open. But make sure you too don't leave yourself wide open to enemy attacks. It's a fun battle between your factions and your opponents, and it has co-op too! You and a friend can battle against the hordes of bokoblins, Denkunuts, and Dongos, all while doing it in style too. And it has a variety of characters to play as well. Not only can you play as the classics like Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf, but characters from individual games and even new characters introduced in Hyrule Warriors. While I don't necessarily enjoy playing as every single character, I most certainly love playing as almost every single character. They don't play the same as other characters. They have different properties and attacks as well, though I do admit there are some characters I feel that are overpowered compared to the others. Link, without a doubt, is the best character in terms of spacing, speed, and damage. And don't even get me started on Sia. She's a little tricky to use, but holy crap. When you combine her special abilities, special attacks, and her magic, you can deal a lot of damage in a large radius and can attack faster than the Flash on steroids. But characters like Agatha and Ruto can also reach to that kind of caliber as well. It just requires a little more knowledge to how to play certain characters. There are some things I kinda wish they would implement, like a 2-player versus mode or online mode, and I do wish the story mode was a lot more fleshed out because I really do like the idea of a crossover of all Zelda universe along with introducing this new plot with Cia and Lana. But adventure mode is a ton of fun to play through, though there are some missions I feel are way too hard than it needs to be, making you play the game even after you finish the campaign mode. And because of this game, I feel like putting Warriors of Orochi 3 Hyper on my worst list of 2013 was unnecessary for me. Because of Hyrule Warriors, I think I'm willing to give Warriors of Orochi 3 another shot. Funny thing about Warriors of Orochi 3, I read a YouTube comment from my subscriber telling me there's an updated version of the game for the PlayStation 4.
So I plan on doing a Let's Play for the game now that I got the Dynasty Warriors gist, and to see if my opinion changed over time. In fact, I actually bought a PlayStation 4 copy of Warriors of Orochi 3 Ultimate. Wait a minute, this is the Xbox One version. I could have sworn I bought the PlayStation 4 version. Oh well. Guess you guys are gonna have to deal with it.